Too. It's somebody in their regular role suddenly in a movie now, and it becomes something different. It becomes part of this other narrative. And,
I just want to mention one other thing, and then I'm going to turn it over to this horde of people who are about to tear my head off for asking me too many questions. But in Gus Van Sant's version, the moment where River Phoenix really kind of cuts loose emotionally is in the hotel room in Italy, when he does that, where he just has that kind of, flips out and he's jumping on the bed. That's kind of the most, it seems to be the most emotionally out there he gets, in a kind of like demonstrative kind of, letting out a lot of pain. In your version, it's the scene with James Russo in the when he goes to see his brother, his father, whatever it is.
yeah.
I've never seen River Phoenix go any further than that in any performance, in terms of like really putting it out, putting himself on the line, really being fearless. And I'm kind of really curious as to why Gus Van Sant didn't want to have that in the film.
Well, it's really weird because, as you can see, the material is there. I mean, River had takes where he was very emotional in the James Russo scene with the brother. And before I'd seen the dailies, Gus would always tell me, well, that was supposed to be the emotional scene. In Gus's film, it's emotional, but it's not that. You don't see River crying in the original, or at least not in close-up. And Gus always told the story that River felt like these are Gus's words, River felt like he didn't have his River Phoenix moment in that scene. That he didn't get it. He was known for being, emotional, I guess, or being, really good with emotion. And he wanted it in that scene, and he felt like he didn't get it. And so that led to the campfire scene in the original, where in mine they were just hugging, but in the original, River's character tells Keanu's character that he loves him and opens up to him, and the story is that River wrote that scene. That in the original they just it was more casual. I guess they just talked about having sex because they were bored. But Gus allowed River to rewrite it and make it, the emotional core of that character in My Own Private Idaho. That scene is the most revealing, maybe not the most emotional, but the most revealing. It's River. Mike says he loves Scott, and that was because he felt like he didn't get the performance in the brother scene. But when I finally got the material and I looked at it, I thought, I don't know what those guys were thinking, because they did get very emotional in it, and he is crying. He did have his River Phoenix moment. I didn't understand why it wasn't in there, and what it could have been is, Gus had another editor. Sometimes, I don't know exactly how Gus and Curtis worked, but I do know that they covered that scene like crazy. There were a ton of takes of that scene, and angles. I didn't use half of them in this. It could have been that Curtis just gave him, a cut, and they were like, okay, that works, and maybe Gus didn't go through all the takes. I don't know, but obviously the emotion was there. But for some reason, Gus and River didn't think it was there when they shot it. I don't know.